Hi, welcome back to Christine's Home Affairs. I have a sort of a quick video today. This one is going to be part of another video that's coming up in the next couple of days. And I've had several people ask for a tutorial on installing an enclosed recessed zip. I can't show you the finished product at the moment because I haven't finished the bag yet. But this is a bag that I've made recently with a recessed zip at the top. And it's got the loose tab that sits at the end. So that's a regular recessed zip. The one that we're going to be doing today is an enclosed recessed zip, so it actually closes up the entire top section of your bag. So this is the section that we're going to be working on today. This section here is what is going to sit right inside the top of the bag that I'm making. So the fabric that I've got, it's really fun. It's a very pretty butterfly print. So that's the bag that's going to be coming up next. It's going to have a few pleats in it, but this video today is showing you how to make an enclosed recessed zip for any size bag that you want to make. Let's do this together. This is what we're going to need for the enclosed recessed zip. The fabric I'm using has got some really nice butterflies on it. This is the outer fabric. I have two pieces of fabric for the outer part of the zip and another two pieces for the lining of the zip. All four of these are 39 by 6.5 centimetres or 15.5 by 2.5 inches. So we want two each of those. And then we want two pieces of stabiliser. I'm just using a lightweight fusible parlan or a palin, and that is 37 by 4.5 centimetres or 14 3/4 by 1 3/4 inches. We want two of those. You only need a 16-inch zip, which is about 40 centimetres. The one I've got here is 45 centimetres or 18 inches. It was the shortest I had that I could use with this project. I'll set the lining fabric and the zip aside for the moment. I've got my fusible stabiliser here. I'm going to attach that to the back of the outer fabric. My seam allowance is 1 centimetre. So you can see here that I've allowed a 1 centimetre overhang for the fabric all the way around. I'll go and fuse those pieces to the outer fabric now. Alright, I've fused my stabiliser to the wrong side of the outer fabric. I want to now mark my boxed corners. These are just going to be very small boxed corners where the zip will be sitting. On one corner of each side, I'm going to measure 2 centimetres or 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm just going to place my layers together and cut them all out at the same time. So I've got both layers of the outer fabric, both layers of the lining fabric together. I've cut those box corners out. And now we're ready to install the zip. It's a very quick process really. And although I've left a 1 centimetre seam allowance all the way around the stabiliser, I haven't done that with the corners here. It really doesn't matter. I just like to get rid of as much of the bulk as I can, but in this small section it's not going to make much difference. If, however, you want to make sure that you've got your lining the same amount of distance shorter than your fabric, cut your fusible stabiliser separately before you iron it onto your fabric, and then you can cut out your box corners. Let's take one of our outer pieces, and we've got the corner facing the top, and we'll take our zip, and this distance from here to here is the length of the zip that you're going to need to be able to close up this bag. So this is way too long for my needs. Let's find the centre of our fabric. And we just want to mark a notch in the top centre on the side where the boxed corners have been cut out. And we'll do the same for the zip. Line up the centre notch with the centre mark on your fabric, and then we'll place the lining fabric over the top of that. lining up that center notch. And you can pin or clip all your fabric pieces together. Take it to the machine and sew all the way across. I like to use double-sided tape, so I've just run a bit of tape along the top edge there. Place my zip over the top, matching those center notches again. And then I'll run another bit of tape over the top of that. And then I'll take my lining and place the right side facing the right side. And those notches will be lined up again. So let's take this to the machine now and we'll sew right along the edge of the zipper teeth. I won't top stitch this just yet. I'll wait until I've put the other side of the zipper tape on and then we'll do it. Alright, so the zip has been enclosed between the two layers of fabric. You can finger press the lining fabric away from the zip, and we'll do the same with the outer fabric. You can use an iron if you want to. It's much quicker for me just to finger press this. I'll be top stitching it in place shortly. That's one side done. With the other side we want to do the same. Fold the fabric in half, find the center, and then just mark a notch in your fabric. I'll run another strip of tape along the top, and then I'll take this edge of the zip and place it directly over the top of my fabric. So I'm bringing the right sides facing, lining up that notch in the center, and another bit of tape. And then we'll take the right side of our lining and face that with the right side here and line up that center notch again. And we'll take this side to the machine and sew that in place. After we've done that, we'll separate the lining and the outer fabric. So we'll have the lining spread out and the outer spread out, and we'll top stitch. Okay, I've separated the top fabric and the bottom fabric. I'm going to stitch these two layers together now. And I'll do the same for the other side. Alright, so we've done our top stitching, we've inserted the zip. We need to open this out now. We'll be chopping off the tail ends in a minute, and we need our slider to be in the center somewhere. With this edge here that's open, to make it easier to sew, I like to just grab some adhesive tape and place that over the top of the teeth. So you can see here the zipper pull's not going to come off, but what I want to do is stitch just in between these two layers of tape. So I want to close up the end of the zipper tape at this end, and I'll also do it at this end here. I'm only going to sew where you can see those two markings here. So just closing up the edge of the zip on both ends. I'll quickly go and do that now. Alright, now that I've done that, my slider isn't going to fall off and the end of my zip isn't going to accidentally come undone. So that's perfectly safe at the end there. I'll bring the slider to the middle so that it's out of my way, and we can cut this off now. At both ends. And we want to bring our outer fabric pieces together and our lining together. I've clipped the ends together for the outer and the lining. We'll sew these two short edges closed. using a 1 centimetre seam allowance. And you'll want to back stitch at the beginning and the end. Now that the ends have been closed up, lay the zipper panel flat so that you've got your outer fabric showing, and you'll see that as you spread that out, this edge here wants to lay down nice and flat over the top of the zip. So you've got that centre seam here, line that up with the centre of your zip, and then just fan out the edges of your fabric. You'll do the same at this end. So I've got the centre of the seam lined up with the centre of the zip. I'm just clipping the edge of the top fabric, not the lining fabric at the moment. Flip that upside down and we'll do exactly the same for the lining. So I can spread that apart there, open out the lining, separate the seam there, then I'll clip all those layers together. Now our ends might not necessarily line up very well, depends on how well you've measured and marked and cut out your box corners. So you can see here that I haven't done that very well. It's not going to affect the size of the panel that goes into the bag because these are the side seams for the bag here. And by lining up the centre seam here on both sides with the centre of the zip will enable you to get the right angles on the side of your panel. I can now take this to the machine and sew straight across here and across here as well, using that same 1 centimetre or 3/8 inch seam allowance. I'll stitch this twice. And repeat for the other end. And that's our enclosed recessed zipper panel completely finished. So when you have this sitting inside your bag, you flip it upside down with the lining facing up. You can trim this back if you want to. And this will be attached to the top of your bag and you'll have your zip sitting nicely inside your bag. You can make these recessed zipper panels any size you like, and you can make them to fit any size bag that you want to as well. So where I've cut out 15.5 inches in length for my fabric here, the side of my bag panel is going to be the same width as well. So if I've got a 20-inch bag, I'll want to have a 20-inch piece of fabric. If it's a 30 centimetre bag, it'll be a 30 centimetre piece of fabric, and then whatever you really want to have for the depth of your recessed panel. So keep in mind you've got your seam allowance along here of 1 centimetre, so that'll come down in size by that much and sit inside your bag by about that depth. Easy, isn't it? So for those that wanted further instructions, thank you for giving me the idea to do that. And I hope this has been helpful when you next go and put a recessed zip or an enclosed recessed zip into your next bag. Tomorrow I plan on making the rest of the bag, so hopefully in the next couple of days we'll have the video up. I'll pop a link in the description down below and the link will be up here once that bag is finished as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I shall catch you next time. Bye for now.